and so it's not as critical, but it's a good item. I'm just going to leave it at that. I talked too much about this one. Mercury's Treads, you know what? I'm just going to talk about this later when I talk about boots. Spirit Visage. Cool item, a little bit weird and funky. It gives you magic resist from the Null Magic Cape. It gives you health regen from the Rejuvenation Bead. And you're paying 700 gold for a tiny bit more magic resist, a tiny bit more health regen, and then a passive, which is reduced cooldowns by 12%, which is amazing, and gives you increased healing and regeneration by 25%. That's healing you receive. This can be from your own abilities, or it can be if someone hits you with a heal spell. This is not something that helps you heal other people, okay? This is people or yourself healing yourself. It's a great item on someone with natural health regen. Actually, it would work with Garen's passive to make him heal himself a lot more. It works with Mundo. I'm trying to think who else, but with those characters, it's actually a good combo. Also, it works if you've got healer on your team. You load up a game, you've got Tarek, or you've got Soraka, or even an Ezreal on your team. This is going to help you get healed a lot more from those heroes. It's actually a great item for its cost. The only question is it a right hero item for this game? It's cheap, you can rush it, so yeah. And you do start from the Rejuvenation Bead. Again, the Regrowth Pendant, I don't like because it can't upgrade to a lot of useful things, but the Rejuvenation Bead upgrades to a few really good items, including this one. So there's a solution if you want some magic regen right at the beginning of the game. Quicksilver Sash gives you magic resist. Basically, it gives you the same amount as the Negatron Cloak. So what are you paying 700 gold for? You're paying 700 gold that every 2 minutes you can cleanse yourself. It is a cleanse, just like the cleanse spell, basically. Except cleanse gives you some immunity for a few seconds. This just removes everything. Is it a good item? Yes. Although you're paying 700 gold for, you know, it's a fair amount of money for something that doesn't give you that much. But if you're against a certain type of team that's got a lot of CC and you need to be able to break that CC and you don't have a cleanse, it may be an item that's good for you. It is one of those active items you got to hit a button for, which is not necessarily newbie friendly. So I'm going to leave this one to the pros. Aegis we've already talked about. Wit's End. Wit's End is an awesome item to kill people with mana. It gives you increased attack speed, which is one of your best attack stats if you're an auto attack type person, either ranged or melee. It gives you some magic resist, which is good because this is the item you get to kill spellcasters. And then you're paying 700 gold for 6 more magic resist, but more importantly, every time you hit, you take away 42 mana from the target and deal that much more damage. Basically, against anyone with mana bar, it's basically going to be giving you plus 42 damage per hit. And it combos extremely well with more attack speed. The more attack speed you got, the faster you get rid of the mana, and the more you take advantage of the bonus damage. When they're out of mana, you're not doing the bonus damage anymore, but frankly, you're going to be murderizing people. Obviously, no good against anyone who doesn't have any mana, but against anyone who does, it's amazing. Arguably, it's more effective against people with a small mana pool because it's easier to shut them down, but someone with a big mana pool is probably using that mana more and perhaps more squishy.
I bring justice.
Getting message during my commentary. I'm just gonna let him know. Alright, next item, Guardian Angel. Okay, this is a cool item. Basically, it gives you a bunch of armor, a bunch of magic resist, and once every 5 minutes, when you die, you come right back to life after a couple of seconds. This is the item to get if you're being regularly focus fired down, regardless of whether you're a tank or you're squishy. If people are making a point out of targeting you and you're dying a lot, get this item. It will make you a lot harder to kill, and when you do die, you will come back to life. Maybe people will stop attacking you, but probably that won't happen until you've come back to life at least once from the Guardian Angel, at which point it has done its job. This is a really good item, not the sort of thing you want to rush. It's the sort of thing you want to use in response to being targeted by an organized team. And hopefully that's the only reason you're dying a lot. If you're dying a lot because you're feeding, frankly, this won't make that much of a difference. Abyssal Scepter. This is a really high ability power item that also gives you magic resist. If you're spelling someone who likes ability power, if you're playing a spellcaster and the enemy has a lot of spellcasters, this is the item to get because it will make you survive a lot longer. It also gives you an aura that reduces the magic resist of everyone around you. This is also a good item to get if your team has a lot of spellcasters. One person on your team should have this for the aura. So get this as a defensive item and also an offensive item if you've got the right team. The best possible scenario is that both teams have lots of spellcasters, in which case this becomes a must-have item. At least one of them on your team, but frankly, It's not, it wouldn't be terrible for, you know, if more than one person got it, even though the aura would not stack. Force of Nature. This is probably the only item that's worth upgrading from Regrowth Pendant. It gives you a ton of magic resist. It also gives you movement speed, which is really valuable. This is what you get if you're a tank and you want to counter spellcasters. It also gives you an incredibly obscene amount of health regen. It gives you 40 as a base, plus regenerates based on the percentage of your champion's max health every second as a passive. It is crazy, crazy health regeneration. I've said it before and I'll say it again, health regeneration is not that amazing a stat on its own, but this is a lot of it, and it will help you anytime there's a little bit of a standoff. You will start every single fight at full health, no matter what has happened before, which is really nice. But you're not getting this for the health regen, you're getting this for the magic resist. The health regen is just a bonus. Banshee's Veil I've already talked about, it's awesome. Lich Bane. Lich Bane, well, upgrades from a Sheen and basically is like a Sheen plus 1,000 if you're a spellcaster. You cast a spell on your next attack, it adds your ability power to your next auto attack. This means you cast a spell, then you just, you know, hit someone for normal, and you do a bunch of extra damage. By itself, this is adding 80 ability power, and therefore 80 damage to your next attack, and hopefully you're getting this if you're getting ability power from something else. This is a good item to get on any spellcaster that is going to be spamming a spell often and wants to do damage. It's a really nice item on someone like Evelyn. It's probably good on, I don't know. I don't spell out my spellcasters. I don't know who the ideal pick is. I mean, it's never a bad item. It'll always be good. The only question is, you know, who is it the best on? Is it the best item you can get at any given time? This will depend on your hero. You want someone with a lot of ability power and someone who spams spells quite often. And in fact, it has a 3-second cooldown built in. So the best way to use it is to cast a spell, hit someone, wait 3 seconds, cast another spell, repeat. So, you know, depending on your particular way of spamming, if you just unload 4 spells instantly, it's not going to give you that much an advantage. But if you can hit spells regularly, it's pretty good. Another defense category, health regen. Well, most of these items I've already talked about, and I've talked about health regen as a stat. Not that amazing. Rejuvenation Bead is just health regen. Doran's Shield I've talked about. Regrowth Pendant is just more health regen. Emblem of Valor, really good. You're not buying this for the health regen. You're buying this mostly for the lifesteal. And who am I kidding? You're buying it because it creates a Stark's Fervor. So I will. Stark's Fervor is in this category. So I'll talk about Stark's Fervor in a second. Philosopher's Stone. Philosopher's Stone is a newbie trap. I've talked about this item in my very first tutorial. It's a good item if you're literally just starting the game. If it's one of your first 10 games, probably just get the Philosopher's Stone every single game, because it will give you the health regen and the mana regen that you need to stay in the lane for longer than 30 seconds. However, after that, it's a bad item. There's just no other way to say it. You can get better mana regen another way, you can get better health regen another way, and health regen is not that good a stat. The passive is not that good a stat. You're better off, you know, either building, depending on what kind of character you're playing, a Heart of Gold, or a Cage's Dagger, or the Avarice Blade. The Philosopher's Stone, and we can get in discussion in the comments about the value of regeneration. It's a worthwhile conversation to have, but the Philosopher's Stone, really good if you're just starting out and you don't have any masteries, you don't have runes that give you mana regen and stuff like that, then it's okay, but you want to wean yourself off of this as soon as possible. Spirit Visage I've talked about. Warden's Mail, I mentioned briefly. It's fairly straightforward. It gives you armor, it gives you health, and when you get hit, there's a 20% chance that the person who hit you will be slowed. It's both in movement and attack speed. It's basically like the Phage or like the